Hey everyone, it's Amanda, part of your Lightworkers support group, and this is the Q&A for October 2022. Okay, first question. Some lightworkers are talking about another major influx of positive energy happening this year or next, similar or larger to the ones that happened in 2012 and 2017. What say you, Sky Friends? I feel like we're already getting the very beginnings of this energy. And I was getting 2023. We're easing into it this time. I feel like the 2012 one was more of a abrupt transition. But this one, they're easing us in because there are a lot of people on the planet that aren't ready for it. And they have a chance to transition more gently. And I feel like the 2017 one was that was transition, but also still too quickly. So I feel like this one goes through, it's already started. I think a lot of us have felt it. And it's going through 2024, it looks like, maybe into 2025. It's more heart energy, more of our other dimensional selves integrating, which will be hard for a lot of people who aren't, don't know anything about it. They haven't worked on themselves. They still have a lot of trauma. They don't even know they have trauma. And yeah, we're really going to have to help a lot of people through it. The phrase, it's going to get harder before it gets easier, is coming through. Just a lot of mental health and a lot of anger and frustration. Okay, from Rebecca Allen. Ooh, the first one was from a different Rebecca. It's the Rebecca's month. How does one keep centered in a hurricane or in the midst of experiencing any natural disaster? I've been through hurricanes before, and the one in North Carolina was nowhere near what the people in Florida had to experience. So I'm asking for all who have been through this. Okay, how to keep centered in a hurricane. I may have to direct channel. We'll see. It seems like they're saying if you are calm before it gets there, like if you just don't expect anything to happen to you, either nothing will happen where you are, or you won't be in the path of it. I think, what if, so what if you didn't even know you're going to be in a hurricane, or you weren't expecting something, like not a hurricane, but maybe like a earthquake or something? Then how do you remain calm in that situation? They're giving me two different things. Okay, first, if you stay in connection with your guides, if you meditate frequently, then your guides will sort of steer you, your intuition and your guides will steer you out of harm's way. The second thing is to think and remember that everything is an experience, and you're not mortal, you're eternal. And even though it's, we're really attached to our families and our houses and our things and the life that we're living right now, it's not really who we are. And when you think in bigger terms like that, and in terms of, whatever happens, it's a huge experience for my, larger self. I would guess that wouldn't work if you're like on a plane that's crashing. In which case you just have to like experience it. And that's part of why we're here. Oddly enough, we actually enjoy experiencing crazy things that our human selves are like, no, this is awful and terrible and I'm going to die. But we're not going to die. We are going to step out of this reality into our true reality. So I guess what they're saying is, look at the bigger picture. And when you meditate often, or I hate to call it meditating because meditating is like implies you have to do it a certain way and blah, blah, blah. But, just tuning in to your higher self. You could do it by going for a walk outside every day and just not thinking about all the everyday things, but just being in nature and absorbing that energy. It could be anything. It could be doing art, playing music, just when you're in touch with your connection to all that is, you're naturally going to be calmer anyway, and you'll naturally be able to handle anything that comes up very calmly. My mom used to joke that she could always remain calm in an emergency, and then after it was over and everybody was okay, then she would like break down, which is a handy quality to have for anybody, really. Okay. I'm going to do, this is my son Jack's question, and then I'm going to do a couple of questions from the Morning Brew newsletter from, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something. Okay. Jack wants to know, when will AI be incorporated into our brains, and when will we live longer because of it? I told him we've already incorporated AI into our lives. It's in our phones that we carry around everywhere. We have access to a lot more knowledge than is in our brains. So, all right, when will it be incorporated into our brains, not just our hands? Let's check that one out first. It looks like first they're going to try some kind of thing under our skin and our head, but above the skull bones, like on the outside of the skull, but inside of the skin. But I don't think that works very well. Ugh, it looks like they're putting it up through our nose. It'll just be teeny tiny. But it's almost like it's like the head of a pin or something, but I can't tell if it's like a little really narrow, like, I don't want to say gun, that sounds scary, but something that it almost has like a camera and a laser light on it to guide where you're going, kind of like surgeons have when they're doing surgery. And then it has something that will basically shoot this thing out and embed it where the light, where they're aiming. I don't think that we have the technology yet for something that's the size of the head of a pin, so it looks like it's going to be quite a while. At least a decade or two. I'm trying to see like a computer that it's connected to, but I really don't see it. It's almost like it's a material that just automatically connects you to everybody else. It feels like a telepathic thing, not so much an AI as connecting us. It's like telepathy. It's like artificial telepathy, not AI. It's AT. It's where it's at. I don't know how this little piece of material put in a certain place in everybody's brains allows us to access information that everyone else that has this, but that's what it looks like. So I guess maybe you have the brain power of all brains that are connected to this thing. It's one of those situations where the technology is so different than anything we have that I just really don't have anything to compare it to, and I can't understand it. Like showing Christopher Columbus a vision of an iPhone, and then him having to figure out what in the heck it does, even though I'm getting like information, not just like visuals, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I do feel like it has the AI component to it, but I don't see a computer that it's tied into. So there must be something different than what I imagine as a central computer where like the AI would run. I don't really see that. So there must be something different. All right, when will that make us live longer? When will AI make us live longer? Well, all right, they're saying we're already living longer because AI is already used to double check x-rays and scans and all of that. I just had a test and AI checked it and found something. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't an actual thing because they went back and ran more tests and it wasn't what the AI suspected. But they're saying in like 5 years, it'll be advanced enough to help us get solutions to diseases that we haven't been able to figure out. I mean, I know they're already working on a cancer vaccine. Should be released pretty soon, which is cool. I don't know if that was from AI, probably not, but let me see if there's anything they implant in our heads that help us live longer. I think that's the idea he had. The only thing I see is like diagnostic tools for monitoring your condition and levels of, whatever in your system, your blood, your oxygen. I mean, we already have Fitbits that measure, whether you're in REM sleep or whatever, and takes your pulse and that good stuff. But this would be embedded somewhere in your body and it would measure like your fluids, like what your blood chemistry is. I know they have those things you blow in. I don't see AI in our brains to help us live longer. It's just chips or some kind of devices that are put in us to monitor things, and then the AI is still outside of us, figuring out the results, looking at the results and figuring out what's wrong with us, if anything, or even predicting what may go wrong with us based on the results. So I'm not really seeing, aside from those little teeny tiny black dots that they like shoot up into our brain, it seems to have something to do with telepathy, but not AI. I'm not seeing anytime soon AI in our brain, inside of our bodies or brains, at least not in the next 20 years. So, all right, so there's that. Okay, so one of the questions in the Morning Brew email newsletter that goes out every morning was, the midterm elections are coming in November. Which party will gain control of the Senate? So I'm assuming it's not an independent party, so I'm going with red or blue, and I'm hoping to see the color of who's going to have control of the Senate. It's so close, it's hard to tell because I can see the blue and the red, and I can't tell which one is bigger. All right, just show me the color of the majority. They're showing me blue, and I don't know if I believe that, but we'll see. I think it's going to stay really, really close. As of right this moment, which is October 21st, the odds are blue, which is Democrats. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe check in a bit closer to the time and see. All right, let's see. The S&P 500 is currently, as of this, whatever this printing was, negative 24.1% on the year. Will it close worse or better than negative 20%? Oh, I was seeing negative 14. That's not worse. That's better. I was expecting it to be worse. Okay, well, that's that. I'm going to go with that. Okay, that's it for this month. If you have any questions, please post them in my Patreon group on the Call for Questions post, or on Facebook in my community on the Call for Questions post. And I'll see you again next month. Much love.